गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड्स। उम्मीद करता हूँ आप सभी लोग अच्छे होंगे। एंड आज हम लोग जो डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं वो हम एसएपी ईआरपी के बारे में डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं। ये एसएपी ईआरपी बेसिकली है क्या? ये एक ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर हम कह सकते हैं, एक ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर है जो किसी भी कंपनी, किसी भी बिजनेस ऑपरेशन के लिए हम लोग इसका बिजनेस ऑपरेशन को मैनेज करने के लिए हम लोग इसका इस्तेमाल करते हैं। जैसे फिनांस हो गया, सेल्स हो गया, सप्लाई हो गया, प्रोडक्शन हो गया, इन सारी चीजों को मैनेज करने के लिए हम लोग एक सॉफ्टवेयर का यूज करते हैं जिसे हम लोग एसएपी बोलते हैं। एसएपी बेसिकली स्टैंड फॉर सिस्टम एप्लीकेशन एंड प्रोडक्ट्स इन डेटा प्रोसेसिंग। सो एसएपी बेसिकली है क्या? यह एक जर्मन बेस्ड कंपनी है। यह एक जर्मन बेस्ड कंपनी है एंड यह हमारे किसी भी प्रोडक्शन कंपनी के लिए, किसी भी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी के लिए बिजनेस को मैनेज करने के लिए सिस्टम प्रोवाइड करता है। सो आज हम लोग जानेंगे कि जर्नी इसका कैसे हुआ था। तो बेसिकली 1970s के टाइम पे एक वर्जन आया था जिसको R/2 बोलते हैं। R/2 बेसिकली ये टू लेयर आर्किटेक्चर था। इसमें दो लेयर थे, लाइक प्रेजेंटेशन लेयर एंड डेटाबेस लेयर। जो भी कोड्स, जो भी एल्गोरिदम थे वो सारे डेटाबेस लेयर में ही थे। इसी वजह से क्या हुआ, यूजर इंटरफेस was very poor and integration with the other system was also very poor, and it was a big problem. So that's why the next version came in 1990s, which is known as R/3 version. So this is the three layer architecture, which is presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. So whatever the codes, whatever the algorithm were placed, all the things were placed in an application layer. If we talk about the advantage, speed and performance was increased as compared to R/2 version. In R/3 version, the GUI was also introduced, that is known as the graphical user interface. iDocs and ALE also introduced to make the better integration with the other system. Now, the next version that we were using since last 2 or 3 years, ECC. So ECC basically it was introduced in 2004. It has a three layer also, like R/3 system, presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. So ECC basically stands for Enterprise Core Component. It is the combination of CRM, SRM, APO, and SCM. During this, the new technology was uh, introduced, which is known as ABAP, where the programming has been done, where the code was written. NWBC, UI5, and Fury apps were also introduced during the ECC time. Now, the fourth version that we have seen these days, like S4 HANA. S4 HANA basically it stands for the SAP fourth version. First, we have seen R/2, second R/3, third ECC, and fourth one is S4 HANA. SAP fourth version and HANA, which stands for High Performance Analytic Appliances. So SAP S4 HANA was introduced in 2015. It works on the HANA database, and ECC also works on the HANA database these days, but earlier it was working on the another database. It was working on another any database like ECC. But in S4 HANA, basically it is a in-memory database. It is a fourth generation of SAP, as I said. The first version of SAP was came in 2015, and the month was November. So the format which will follows YYMM, YY 2015, and 11 was the month which is November. The second version came in 1610, like 2016, and month was October. Next one was 1709. The year was 2017 and September, and so on till 1909. The format was follows like it was in version was coming in September month. So S4HANA work with GUI, Fury app, NWBC. So NWBC it is the stands for Net Waiver Business Client. So performance and speed was also increased in S4HANA. So data model got it simplified and on the fly calculation. How we can say that it was a fly calculation? Because all the tables that we were using in ECC for calculation, all the tables were removed in S4HANA. That's why we are saying it is a fly calculation, and all the calculation were will done immediately in S4HANA. It was embedded analytics. So let's more talk about the ECC. So basically, it was taking a lot of time as compared to S4HANA. It is also known as the operation engine. For complex report, it was not easy. If you are talking about the complex, suppose we have to see the complex report, and it was not easy to see in SCC, but we can see in a S4HANA. For complex report, we were using a BW system, and for analytic report, we were using a BI system, and for advanced planning, we were using a APO system. So basically, OLTP stands for Online Transaction Processing, which we were using in ACC, and OLAP, Online Analytical Processing, which can be done only by the users of BI and BW system. So when S4HANA came in 2015, it is a combination of OLTP, OLAP, and planning. It was more capable than operational engine. EWM and TM are also embedded in S4HANA. Embedded in S4HANA. If you're talking about the planning was MRP Live, DDMRP, AATP, PPDS, all the things we will discuss in the later on classes. So let's talk about the what is the SAP terms. So SAP HANA, it is a memory database. It was introduced. HANA database, I'm talking about the HANA database. HANA database was introduced in 2011, and HANA database has a capability of analytics, simplified data model, access application layer, library we have for the code writing. SAP HANA can be accessed through the HANA Studio. Next one is sidecar scenario. Suppose we are using a ECC from where we want to get the result. So and ECC is connected with the if we will use the ECC and will connect with the HANA database using the software that will use to connect ECC to HANA database. The software name is SLT, System Landscape Transformation. So basically, what it does, SLT brings Mara and Mark table from ECC and it transfer that table to the HANA database. HANA database, the main car is HANA database of the ECC. ECC is the main car and sidecar is the HANA database. So whatever the performance done, all the things we can see in a presentation layer using BI tool that is also known as the output. So HANA database is the OLAP system, which stands for Online Analytical Processing. So we can see the data, whatever we are able to get it from the ECC system into HANA database, that data table will be combined using HANA Live tool and which is presented using BI tool that is known as the Lumira, which is called as the presentation layer. Through the BI tool, we would be able to get analytics and reports depending upon our requirement. Now let's talk about the what are the benefits and drawbacks of the sidecar scenario. So the benefits if talk, main card, which is ECC, is not touched or disturbed. Particularly, scenario can be implemented in 1.5 or 2 month time. Now, if we're talking about the drawback, so ड्रॉबैक क्या है इसका, साइड कार्ड सिनेरियो का, कि जब हम साइड कार्ड सिनेरियो यूज करते हैं तो एक टेबल से ये सेम टेबल इसीसी इसीसी में भी है और वहाँ हाना डेटाबेस में होता है। जब ये प्रोसेस होता है उसके दौरान फुटप्रिंट इंक्रीज होता है, और फुटप्रिंट जैसे ही इंक्रीज होगा तो उसकी मेमोरी इंक्रीज होती है, और जब मेमोरी इंक्रीज होगा तो उसके परफॉर्मेंस इफेक्ट होंगे। इसी वजह से क्या हो जाएगी कि उसकी स्पीड जो होगा वो स्लो हो जाएगा। दिस इज द ड्रॉबैक ऑफ द sidecar scenario. Now the next thing, SAP BW powered by HANA. It was introduced in 2011. It was working on the HANA database. Performance and speed increases. Complex report. Now, in 2017, 12, we can see complex report can be executed in 15 to 12 seconds. मतलब कोई भी अगर complex report हमें देखना है तो within 20 to 15 to 20 seconds it can be executed. Now the fourth term, SAP Business Suite, powered by HANA or SOH like Suite on HANA. So ECC working on HANA database, it was introduced in 2013. Speed and performance was increased. OLAP and OLTP. It was the combination. SAP Business Suite was combination of OLAP and OLTP. It was introduced in 2013, and PP module, PM module, MM module, QM module, and SD module were working smoothly. Enhancement pack 7 out of 8 of the ACC can be worked with the HANA database only. Now the fifth term, SAP Simple Finance powered by SAP HANA. Before that, we were not FICO mode. We were not handling FICO, financing and accounting using the SAP S4HANA model. But ECC working on the HANA database started working with the FICO module. SAP introduced Fury apps along with the at docket table, which is a single source of the truth table. So in 2000, in 2014, SAP Simple, when the SAP Simple Finance was introduced, at that time, Fury apps and Act Docket table was introduced. Act Docket table is a single source of truth table. So simple logistic. What is simple logistic? So simple logistic basically it is a terminology. It is just a terminology for the simplification of logistic module. For the simplification of logistic module, like PP module, PM module, MM module, QM module, and SD module, FICO module. S4 HANA, simple logistic. S4 HANA introduced in 2014, 15. S4 HANA introduced in 2015. It was starting with working with all the models like FICO module, PM module, SD module, PP module. MACDoc table was introduced. Docket table was introduced. Fury apps were introduced for the different modules. What was the advantage of SAP S4 HANA? So it was a simplified data model, user interface, advanced processing. Okay, technical application we have used in SSC, ECC, but S4 core. This is the technical application we have used in S4 HANA. What is the technical application we have used? S4 core we have used in S4 HANA database. So this was the basic journey we have seen from the RY2 version to SAP S4 HANA. We have seen in every version what were the advantage, what were the disadvantage, all the things we have seen. In the next classes, we will discuss some more terminology like how the things can be used, what are the types of SAP project, all the things in a discuss class in next classes. Thank you. Bye bye.